Twitch. Where is the stream? See if we can't find it. Scroll down. That appears to be it. I'll just check the audio. Yeah, the audio is working as it should be. So the stream's up, the chat's up. We're all good to go. So, hello and welcome everyone to round 10 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. We're back for another week, and this time at Suzuka International Racing Course for the Japanese Grand Prix. Constructed in 1962 by a joint effort between the Honda Motor Company and Dutch architect John Hugenholtz, Suzuka held its first ever Grand Prix back in 1987, though the first ever Japanese Grand Prix was back in 1976, held at Fuji Speedway. So the Japanese Grand Prix has been around for some time before Suzuka held its first ever Formula One race. It's often regarded as not only Japan's but also Asia's premier racetrack. The 3.6 mile 18 turn course is incredibly fast and flowing. It demands a lot from the drivers, especially from their skill and focus. The S section at the beginning of the course that is formed by turns 3 through 7 tend to be quite a demanding bit of track. The inside curbs in this section have a tendency to dramatically unsettle the car, potentially putting them into the race-ending barriers. They also have to face the high-speed Digna curves of turns 8 and 9, the spoon curve that is formed by turns 13 and 14, as well as the most infamous turn on the racetrack, the fast left-hander of 130R. Overtaking opportunities here are limited and few. Drivers will have DRS down the pit straight to try and make moves into turns 1 and 2. They have turn 11, Kobayashi Corner, the tight left-hand hairpin in the middle sector. Finally, there's the Casio Triangle, the chicane in the final sector that is formed by turns 16 and 17. Suzuka is a old-fashioned, brutal racetrack, a proper test of ability. A track of this kind of stature tends to be incredibly rewarding if you do well. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. But first, a little bit of news from the previous race. Now, there were a few incidents that were brought up, one of which involving Cameron, who's been awarded a reprimand for poor formation lap etiquette. We noticed that last week, where he just sort of dropped back right to the back of the field for whatever reason, and the stewards deemed that cheating, so he's been given a reprimand for it. It's KD towards the racetrack, towards the outfield rather. And of course there was an incident between Cam Tizzle and Cameron, with Cameron not moving out of the way to let Cam Tizzle through, and as a result, Cos Cameron will be serving a quali ban for this race. There was a penalty removal for KD 1997. He got 10 seconds removed. As a result, he jumps up from P7 to P5. And also an incident from Lopez. He's been rewarded a penalty point for not providing any footage during one of the incident reports. As KD goes into the barrier there, a Dunlop curve, very easy to do, a Dunlop, really easy to do. In the Drivers' Championship, Passassin is in the lead on 151 points, followed by Barmer 22 on 144, so only 7 points behind. Then Andy Wu on 87, Cos Cameron on 74, then Arba on 71. In the Constructors, Mercedes are in the lead on 218 points. Aston Martin are second on 202, so 16 points behind. They are well in front of McLaren, who are on 119 points. So in the Constructors, it's looking like a two-horse race, followed by Ferrari, Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, Alpine, and Red Bull. And I'm happy to report for the weather forecast, it should be dry in both qualifying and in the race, so we won't have any wet weather interference. But that's it in terms of news from Contest of Speed. There is a little bit involving the game as version 1.12 was released. And from that update, we've now got Imola to play with now. The famed Autodromo Enzo Dino Ferrari. I've actually had a couple of runs on it in time trial, and it's a fantastic circuit to drive around. Not sure about the racing around it, though. Racing might be a bit interesting. Probably a bit boring, I imagine. But the circuit itself is very, very fun to drive around. And of course, if we can find one, the white livery for the Red Bull cars, in tribute to the first ever Honda car to win a Grand Prix back in 1965 at the Mexican Grand Prix. Driver was Richie Ginther, if I recall correctly, as Lopez loses it a little bit at Spoon. Yes, a full white livery with the rising sun right on top of where the number is on the nose. It's quite a nice tribute. Nice little tip of the hat to the Honda Motor Company, who was leaving the sport after this year. Lopez ducks back into pit lane. They also announced some fixes for the online stuff as well, such as a lap 2 glitch appears to be resolved, as well as some leaderboard glitches that occur throughout the race. So hopefully those patches do actually work and we won't have said glitches now, hopefully. Cross our fingers. Yeah, I think that's it. Now we can focus on qualifying itself. Now currently Mitch Burns is our pole sitter with a 129.161. I imagine a lot of these guys are qualifying on the soft. Well, there's a few people on the medium, on the medium tire here and there. I imagine they'll soon get off them though to start qualifying on the soft tire, because track position around here is awfully important. Is there an engineer dashboard? I don't know. See, I'm not in charge with the telemetry system stuff, unfortunately. I thought someone like Bursey would be in control of it. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. There used to be telemetry stuff available in previous races, but I'm not sure for today. So... But, tell you what, we'll take advantage of this. Express is about to start a flying lap. We'll ride on board with him. Take you on a guided tour of Suzuka Circuit. Heading down the pit straight towards turn 1. Which is about 320 kilometers an hour as they go through turn 1, then into turn 2. Now the S section, the notorious X section. You want to try and avoid the inside curves as best you can. As soon as you touch him, you're basically guaranteed to spin. As Cameron retires from the session, as he's serving a quali ban, as Express demonstrates the notorious nature of those curbs in Sector 1. Heading towards the first Degner curve, not quite hitting the apex. You can use those curbs on the inside of the Degner curves. They're not quite as nasty as the S section. Into the hairpin, given the title Kobayashi Corner, after his performance at the 2012 Japanese Grand Prix, made some spectacular moves there. Kamui Kobayashi claimed his only podium of his F1 career here, a third place finish. I'm pretty sure it's his only podium finish. Exiting Spoon, heading towards 130R, which is 8th gear, climbs just over 300 kilometers an hour as it goes flat out through 130R. Into the chicane, gets on the brakes, moves it down to 3rd gear, and around the final corner towards the finish line, opens DRS, goes 10th fastest with a 1 minute 30.403. Aaron on the medium tyre, coming through turn 2, spinning at turn 2 as well. Just clipping the inside curb, and away the car went. Lopez getting out of the way of his teammate, Dream, who was on a flying lap potentially. Passassin current championship leader. I'll be intrigued to see how he performs here at Suzuka. Kitten Petter has crashed out a Dunlop curve. There he is there. So he's lost control, slid into the left side barrier, so he's out of qualifying. He's currently P2, but we still have 5 cars to set a lap time. And we still have plenty of time left in the session for drivers to improve. So, yeah, this isn't good for Kitten. See where he ends up at the end of qualifying. Sasson exiting turn 14. Second part of Spoon. Arbar jumps to the top. Barmer into P2. Half a tenth in front of Mitch Burns. And apparently, Persasson is purple to the middle sector. Through the chicane. Down the hill, around the final corner. Keeps it narrow. Crosses the line. Jumps up to pole position. A 128.229. He is 8 tenths clear of Arbar. Payton up by half a second as he goes through the final chicane around the final corner. Opens DRS, crosses the line. He jumps up to 4th place with a 29.096. Jask on the medium tyre. Super sub from Greece. Commentated with him once, a really nice chap. Making his way towards 130R. See what the Sector 2 split says. He's up by 11 thousandths of a second. It's not much of an improvement, but it's an improvement. See how much time he can find in this final sector. Gets through the chicane relatively well. Around the final corner. DRS open up to the line. He improves by a tenth and a half. Jumps to P7. And that was on the medium tyre. So that's a really nice lap. You can see 2 drivers inside the top 10 setting times on the mediums. Jask and Bursey. But Bursey, as of right now, he's on the soft tyre. Getting ready to set another flying lap. We got this random sector 2. Oh, it's not random. KD has run out of fuel. I wish they could remove that yellow flag indicator. Or just move it so I can see the timer. Because I have no clue how much time is left in the session. I have to wait for KD to go back into the pits. Wingett has invalidated. He's currently P11. Cam, making his way round the hairpin, is on a flying lap. Heading around 200R. Flat out right-hander in the middle sector. Towards Spoon. Gets on the brakes, brings it down to 5th gear. Gets on the brakes again for the second part of Spoon. Fairly nice exit there. Heading down towards the crossover point in 130R. Got 2 Ferraris in front of him. That's Wingett and Jask. Who's this in front? Wingett getting out of the way. Good job there. Into the chicane. Missed the first apex ever so slightly. Gets the second one pretty well. Doesn't keep it narrow though. He could have found a little bit more time if he just kept it to the right hand side. Here's that funky looking camera view. Looking back towards the driver. It's completely useless, but you know, they added it in the game, so it's a thing. Dream on an outlap express. Coming through Spoon. Breezy has invalidated. He's going to start another flying lap. He's currently P15 with a 145.5, so not at all competitive. Just got under 5 minutes left in the session as well, so we're coming towards the pointy end of qualifying. Oh, and a spin there for Breezy. Oh, you shouldn't have done that. You should have got on the brakes there a bit more. He let that car just go straight into the barrier. You have to be very, very careful now, because if you do that, you can get rear wing damage, or even floor damage for that matter. And you can't repair that. And there's a Haas that has spun out in front, is it? Oh no, it's just Aaron getting out of the way. It's alright, Breezy isn't on a proper flying lap. Yeah, you really have to be careful not to go into the barrier now. As Andy, I think, jumps up to second place with a 28.7. Arba on a flying lap, heading towards turns 1 and 2. It's on the brakes, brings it down to 4th gear. And through the S's now. 6th gear through turn 3, back down to 5th for turn 4. Keeps it in 5th for turn 5, then turn 6. All while avoiding the inside curves into the notorious Dunlop curve of turn 7. And Breezy has retired. That is that spoon curve. We're right on board here with Mitch Burns. Have a look at this. Where is he? There he is. So he's lost control on the outside curb, spinning out into the left-hand side barrier. Fairly easy thing to do. Just lighting it up on the exit, losing control, ending up in the barrier. Amazingly, Kitten Petter, even though he retired early on, he's still in the top 10. He would like to be outside of the top 10, I reckon, so then he can start on whatever tyre he chooses. P11 would be quite nice. As Arba is up by almost 2/10 in the middle sector. That is Andy getting out of the way there. Around the final corner, coming up to the line, Arba does improve in terms of time, not in terms of position. Through the Degner curves. Underneath the bridge, towards the hairpin. Brings it down to 2nd gear, I imagine. No, 3rd gear. That's a KD technique. KD does that a lot in low-speed corners. That is a Haas-off in the 1st sector. Not quite sure who it is. Keep our eyes on Mitch, though. Down the hill. Ooh, almost invalidating there. Running wide at turn 14. Sector 2 split says... No, he's well down. My goodness, and he's backing off. KD has crashed out at Spoon as well. Oh, dear. There he is there in a similar fashion to Breezy. Just losing control and ending up in the left-hand side barrier. Gaska's on the medium tyres again, so he's got to try and improve on worn rubber. He's currently P9. But I think he'll be going back into the pits. Passassin on a flying lap. Exiting turn 2. Through turn 3, then 4. He's down to 5th gear. Keeps it in 5th for turn 5. Into turn 6. Down to 4th gear. Brings up to 5th. 6th gear through Dunlop. Over the crest. Heading towards the 1st Degner curve. 6th gear. Uses all the curve on the inside. Then the 2nd Degner curve. Underneath the overpass. Through turn 10. Then turn 11. The hairpin. Brings it down to 2nd gear. Short shifts to 3rd on the exit to get the traction. Sector, got yellow flags all around the circuit at the moment. Both Haases have had a moment. One in Sector 1, the other in Sector 2 at the hairpin. Down the hill. Towards the crossover point of 130R. What does Sector 2 say for Passassin? He's up by 3/10. He's looking at a 27. So long as he doesn't make a mistake. Through the chicane. Really tidy through there. Around the final corner. Keeps it narrow. Opens DRS. Crosses the line. It's a 1:27.932. An almost impossible lap to beat. Barmer has backed off, so he's not set to improve. Best he can hope for is P2. See what Payton can do about it. He's invalidated at the 1st Degner curve. That is qualifying over for Payton. A costly mistake. Jask, he's backed out as well. He's got wing damage, actually. I think he's got wing damage on the right-hand side of his car. Dream has backed out. Same with Electric Blade. He's got damage. Wing it. Up by half a second in the 1st sector. He needs to find a fair amount of time. Currently down in P16. Exiting Spoon. Coming up to the Sector 2 split. What does the clock say? Up by half a second still, so he hasn't gained time in the middle sector. How much time can he find in the final one? Gets through the chicane pretty well. Around the final corner. Wingett will cross the line to set a 29.6, goes 12th quickest. Be happy with that. He'll get a free choice of tyre for the start of the race. So will Kitten Petter. He'll start from P11 and he retired early on. But it's this man who will start on pole once again. Passassin with a blistering lap time. 8/10 faster than Barmer. 8/10. That's huge. That is properly big. Rightio. I've never... Ooh, are these new? Onto the Aston Martin cars? Those little winglets on the halo? I've never noticed those before. I don't think I've ever seen those little winglets before. Yes, Passassin on pole. 8/10 over Barmer. Andy will start P3, then Mitch Burns. Arba P5, Peyton P6, Bursey 7th, KD in 8th. Jask will start from 9th on the medium tyre, then Aaron Carey rounds out the top 10 on the soft tyre. Then Kitten, Wingett, Dream, Electric Blade, Express, Cam, Breezy, Lopez, and then Cameron will start from the back of the field while serving a quali ban. He's got a lot of work to do. It's a really tough track to pass. You'll have to be quite aggressive to move his way up the field. Now, as I mentioned, we shouldn't have any sort of wet weather interference in this race. It should be dry all the way through. So, get a nice dry race. The cars are bobbing about there as they're lining up. Can you see that? Bottom right, they're all jumping around. They're all excited, ready to race. That's why they're bobbing around like that. See the Ferris wheel moving in the background. Same with the spider cam that's moving across the circuit. The marshals ready and waiting. Drivers will be fine-tuning their setups, getting ready for the race. I haven't raced here in a while, but I'm pretty sure it's medium soft or soft medium around here. I'm pretty sure. I don't think the hard tyre is that great around here, if I recall. But of course, if a driver gets damaged early on, they'll probably be forced onto the hard tyre to try and go to the end. Drivers setting off on their formation lap. Now, let's have a look at the tyres, shall we? And it's a fairly convincing story outside the top 10. So we know inside the top 10, everyone's starting on the soft tyre except for Jask in the Ferrari. First driver outside the 10 is Kitten Petter. He's starting on the mediums, then Wingett P12 on the softs. Dream P13 on the soft tyre too. Electric Blade on the softs. Express on the soft tyre. Cam P16 is the next driver starting on the mediums. Then Breezy P17 on the soft tyre. Lopez P18 on the mediums. Same with Cameron. And there's a predicted tyre stop strategy. So, according to that, he's doing a medium hard. But I don't think that's what he's doing. I don't think so. He'll probably do a fairly long stint on the medium tyre, then hop onto the soft tyre to go to the end of the race. And nobody starting on the hards. There it is again. So pit window, according to that, lap 13 to 17. For the soft tyres, it was lap 10. Rightio. Leaders getting some temperature into their tyres. Yeah, these little winglets. Sitting on the halo. I've never noticed them before. Have they always been? I don't think they've always been there. Oh, those poor bollards knocked them over. Poor things. It will be a lot more difficult for drivers without racing line to spot their apex. But, oh, there's the predicted tyre stop strategy. On worn tyres, so pit window lap 8 to 10 to go onto the hard tyre. Like I said, I haven't raced here in a while, so I'm a bit out of the know in terms of what strategy is the most ideal here at Suzuka. But I reckon if you're capable of doing a soft medium, it's probably best that you do it. As Breezy is lining up into his grid slot, and we can get this race underway. 19 cars are lined up and ready to race here at Suzuka. We got 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Barber converts well on the inside line. Can he take the lead into turn 1? No, he cannot. Passassin will hang on. Oh, the rest of the field bunching up 2 by 2 as they make their way through turn 2. Now into the S section. Everyone tries to go single file. Side by side between Jask and a Haas. Oh, dearie me, this is nasty. Wingett tries to slide on by as well. Oh, the Haas is getting a bit bullied here. He's getting swamped. He's just lost 3 positions in this S section. Poor Aaron. And now his teammate wants to have a go as well. Here he comes, looking around the outside. Surely he can't get that done. No, he can't. Through the Degner curves they go. Poor Aaron, he got absolutely swamped through the S section. But he's still going, that's the main thing. And Cameron has spun. He has spun at the second Degner. Now he's got a lot more work to do. He has to close the gap and make up positions. Oh, here comes Breezy, round the outside. This will give him the inside line for Spoon. He keeps it there. And he moves himself into 13th place. Now he wants to get by the other Haas of Aaron Carey. Down towards the bridge. And 130R. Where does Breezy look? He just stays behind for now. Will he send it at the chicane, perhaps? He looks. He dives. He hits. Oh, he almost hit Kittenpetter. Oh, I thought he was almost guaranteed to hit Kittenpetter, but he avoided it. And he gets going again. But he's down in 18th place. Oh, he was but millimeters away from hitting that McLaren. Oh, that was close. So a little bit of drama early. Just a little bit. Everyone just trying to find a bit of track to race on. Get into the rhythm. Leaders are behaving well. Out in front though, Passassin already building a margin. Pulling away from Barma, taking full advantage of the clear air. And there's already a gap forming in the midfield as well. I can see a bit of a gap between these two. Dream and Electric Blade. Oh, here comes Express and Aaron Carey. Oh, I thought Express was going for a move there, but he decided against it. No, everyone's behaving themselves pretty well for the start of a race here at Suzuka. Typically, it's quite dramatic. Express down the inside of 130R. It should be a fairly simple move, and it is. He's into P14 now. Change of position there. Assassin setting fastest laps out in front. Look at this pack of cars as DRS is enabled. Heading down towards turn 1. Wingett defending from Kittenpetter. Going into one. Oh, into turn 1, and Petter is through anyway, around the outside. Probably get rid of this for now. Bring up the gaps. The all-important gaps. Aaron into the pit, so he must have got damage. It's the only reason why you would pit in this early. So he'll need a safety car at some point to save his race. Rizzi and Lopez changing position there. Under the bridge, towards the hairpin, a yellow flag is being displayed. Not quite sure why. Probably just a slow car. No major incident on track. You can see from the intervals, the gaps still fairly tight racing at this stage. Drivers have to be very mindful. One single mistake could not only cost your race, but it could cost several other drivers, as Arba is overtaken by Andy Wu. Andy making a move down the inside at 130R. Exiting the chicane around the final turn. Can Arba reply? He'll have DRS. He'll close in on the McLaren. He'll close in a lot. Will he look? No, he'll back off. Mitch Burns isn't close enough to capitalize on that. Just sensible driving going on as Aaron makes a mistake at Spoon. Gets it going again. Appears to be relatively okay. Look at this pack, led by Andy. Arba's been put under a bit of pressure here. Mitch Burns is right behind. Through the Degner curves. Peyton and KD want to get in on this as well. And that is a Red Bull. That must be Lopez. Bringing out the yellow flag. Towards Spoon. Look at these gaps. Very, very tight stuff at the moment. Down towards 130R. Cars are still bunched up. Nothing major going on just yet. Wingett and Electric Blade side by side. Into the chicane they go. Wingett keeps P11 for now. A bit of a wiggle. Well, hello, Jask. Around the outside at turn 1. He takes P9 away from Bursey. Electric Blade retakes P11. Oh, from Wingett, who spins out. Bringing out yellow flags. Gets it going again, but he's lost a whole heap of positions. He's fallen to 16th. And into the clutches of Cameron. He's on better tyres at this stage. With Wingett spinning out, his tyres would be absolutely shot to pieces. Cameron just scoots on by. Express keeping up with Dream. And that is Lopez bringing out yellow flags. I think that's the second time he's done that at Dunlop. Through Spoon. Oh, very wide there, Bursey. Keep him within the white lines, buddy. Here comes Kitten Petter. He's got to run. Looking down the inside. I don't think Bursey will put up a fight here. He won't. Just sensible driving that. Into the chicane. Now Bursey might be able to counter-attack here. Kitten Petter won't have DRS. Bursey will. Kitten Petter knows this. So keeps it nice and narrow. Try and break a bit of the toe. Keeps P9 for now. Still this big group of cars fighting for P3. Got KD. Got this man on screen, Peyton. You got Mitch Burns in front. Bit of a gap to R-Bar. And then there's Andy leading the train. And Peyton's looking around the outside. Oh, and he keeps it there. Mitch gives him room in all fairness. But they lost about 6/10 with that exchange. Coming towards the hairpin now. Oh, I thought somebody was going to send it there. Wingett has a 3-second time penalty. As Cameron overtakes Cam. For P15. Through Spoon they go. All three of these guys. Down the hill towards 130R now. Around the flat-out left-hander. Towards the chicane. Will Peyton go for it? No, he won't. He'll stay in behind and then pass with DRS down the pit straight. Oh, desync. A horrible bit of desync. What happened there? Peyton's overtaken by... Oh, uh-oh. That's not good. Peyton's through. That was horrible desync. See, the leaderboard is a bit confused as well. It's showing that Peyton and KD are currently side by side, according to the interval. But I don't think it's affected anybody. Though Mitch has dropped 2 positions, so maybe he was a little bit. That was very, very, very strange. And everything seems all right now. It's just, yeah, horrible bit of DC. Down towards 130R. Look at them all. And Barmer's now in this as well. He's fallen into the clutches of Andy. Now these two had quite the scrap at Monte Carlo. I'm sure Barmer would love to return the favour. A big weave there to try and break the toe. Here comes Andy in the McLaren. He's going to look to the outside line. Barmer gives him a bit of a squeeze. Parks the bus. Keeps P2. Good driving. Nothing malicious in that. Just good car placement there. Assassin out in front has a 4.5 second lead, and that is continuing to increase, especially if Barmer and Andy start to scrap it out. And that is Electric Blade, I think. It is. Oh, and that's Breezy to join in as well. Hello, Breezy. Oh, you're kidding. He crashed into the barrier at 2 kilometers an hour. And he's out. Safety car deployed. You're kidding. He crashed into the barrier at such a low speed, the front wing exploded. And obviously the rest of the car exploded too. And he's out. And as a result, we have a safety car. And this is going to help the soft runners. Because if you remember to the predicted tyre stop strategy, the pit window was about lap 8. Lap 8 to 10. So all of these guys are going to take a big benefit out of this. But I'm still a tad bit curious to see what tyre they pit onto. Into the pits comes Passassin. Peyton, a 3-second time penalty. And it's a set of mediums for Passassin. It's a set of mediums for Barmer. It appears to be the way to go. Everybody's pitting for mediums. For Kitten Petter, though, he'll have to pit onto a set of hards. Same with Jask in P10. He'll have to pit onto a set of hards too. Someone's saying out, and that is Cameron. Now he's behind Passassin. I mean, it's an understandable risk from his point of view. He gains a whole heap of track position. But he's now a pit stop behind everybody. Someone else stayed out as well. That is Lopez. He stayed out. He's on 8-lap-old mediums. But that is just amazing, because how slow that crash was. And apparently that was enough to completely destroy the car. I mean, I've seen it before. A friend of mine had a horrible streak of crashing out in very weird ways, and one of them was actually here at Suzuka in the very same spot. He hit the barrier, I kid you not, about 15 kilometers per hour, and the car just imploded, and he was out of the race. He was driving a Alfa Romeo, jokingly said they must have made the thing out of toilet paper. Because it just deteriorated as soon as it hit the barrier. And it was a similar story there for Breezy. Hit the barrier and donezo. That's it. And fair enough, Breezy. Fair enough. Well, I suppose one positive, we get to see that very nice looking Aston Martin safety car. That's in front of an Aston Martin Formula 1 car. Rather fitting. Touring Suzuka circuit in the Japanese sunshine. Yes. Now, I'll get rid of the interval. We don't need that. What we might have a look at is penalties already. Because we're closing in on the halfway mark. Got a few laps to get through first, but we're closing in. Cameron's got 3 seconds. Peyton has got 3 seconds. Lopez and Wingett have 3 seconds. So currently only 4 drivers have pens. Now, around a circuit like this, where would you get them? Probably, as Passassin is revving his car, understandably. Where would you get penalties? Probably here at the first Egner curve, that'll be one of them. Maybe the second one as well. Cutting too much here. Running too wide here. Same story with Degner 2. Cutting too much or running wide. Through here you won't be able to get a penalty. Through turn 10 where Kvyat rolled his Red Bull. Hairpin, yeah, you wouldn't get any penalties through here. The other spot I could think of is Spoon running wide at the exit of turn 13. Using all the curb on the outside. Same with turn 14. Another area would be cutting too much through the chicane. Oh, and running wide at 130R. That'll be another place. Now, the safety car should be going into the pits this lap. But with Suzuka Circuit, the third sector is quite short, so the leader isn't given a great deal of time to control the field. In fact, I think it's the shortest sector in the calendar, I think. Sector 3 in Suzuka. It's very, very short. Radio Passassin. Oh, and Cameron's made a colossal mistake. Oh, dear, oh, dear. He's dropped down to 5th place with that. He's lost control at the chicane. Here comes Andy. Round the outside of Barmer. Into turn 1 we go. Oh, and spinning is Barmer. Oh no, both Mercedes spin out on the restart. Oh, but Barmer gathers it up just. But he's down to P9. And the camera shot didn't really tell us too much. I'm not sure if Barmer and Andy made contact or Barmer just rode awkwardly on the inside curb, and that is, oh dearie me, KD losing control. Oh dear. Gets back on. Gets going. But he's now in 17th, a long way behind. Look at the gap Assassin has made already with the restart lap drama as KD makes another mistake. Pushing too hard on overcooked tyres. Through 200R towards Spoon. And he's got Arbar, Cameron Payton right behind, giving him a lot of pressure. Through 130R towards the Casio triangle. Through that pretty nicely. So other than that early restart drama, it's been fairly tame. Useless camera angle. Better camera angle. And he backs out. He just lets Andy have it for now. Doesn't go for the position. From what I understand, these two are actually good mates, so they wouldn't fight each other too hard just yet. KD, a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pits, and that's Cameron running wide. Oh, and in front of Peyton, he cut right in front of the Alpha to try and hang on to position. He's got a 3-second time penalty, increasing his total to 6 seconds. Here comes Peyton, looking left and right to try and pass the Mercedes. And KD, he retired in the pit lane after making that mistake, so he's had enough. Lopez, a 3-second time penalty. He's still soldiering on in 17th place. Credit to him. He's not giving up. Arba right on the back of Andy, heading towards the Casio triangle. Round the outside he looks. They give each other room. And Arba is into second. Not quite. Andy fights back down the inside. Down the pit straight we go, as DRS should be enabled this lap. It is. Towards turn 1, Andy can't fight back. Arba into second place. There goes Cameron, Peyton, Mitch Burns and Burnsy. There's Barmer and Jask fighting for P8. Dream rounds out the top 10. Out in front though, Assassin, he's got a big lead already. A big lead. 3.4 seconds. He's gained a second a lap on the field. On the field. Deary me. It is gone. Gone. Towards the hairpin, Cameron dives. Cam's out of the session, crashing out at the Degner curves. Safety car has been deployed. There is Cam's car. That's a big crash. You can see the impact. Losing control at the first Degner. Going into the barrier on the inside of the circuit. I wonder how Aaron got involved in that. Out of curiosity. Did he too just make a mistake at the same time? Or did the two actually make contact, resulting in Cam's retirement? I'm not sure. His car looks alright, so I reckon he just made a mistake himself. Right. Does Cameron pit? He does. He'll take advantage of this. What does he go on to? It is a set. Hang on. It's a set of softs. I mean, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Barmer pitting for soft tyres. Kits and Peta pitting for soft tyres. In fact, all of those drivers are pitting in for soft tyres. Why not? Roll the dice. Roll the dice. Yeah. See what happens. Still plenty of laps to take place, so. And Lopez is going on to the intermediate tyre. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Be doing a nice little drift session, I imagine, on those tyres. He has to be very careful. Has to be very, very careful. Oh. Catches it. This will be our safety car entertainment. Oh. Oh. Now, I believe with intermediate tyres, their operating window is about 80 degrees or something. For a slick tyre, it's about high 90s, 100 degrees. So, yeah, these things aren't in their natural operating window, so they are cooked. has to be very, very careful. Even through these slight turns, he has to be very careful. And actually, one thing that's bothered me about this Red Bull livery, don't know if you can see it from here. If you look at that left wing mirror, you can see what appears to be the bottom of the Tag Heuer logo. If you look on the other side, it's not there. It's just a little glitch or a misplacement of a logo with this skin, this livery. Something that I noticed when I was doing time trial around Imola in this thing. It just bugged me looking at that. Medium tyres going onto his car. That's a more appropriate tyre, I reckon. And away he goes. There's a better look at the livery. Top side. You can see the rising sun circle where the number is. Like I said, it's a nice little tip of the hat to Honda. It's disappointing to hear them leaving the sport. Coming back with McLaren in 2015. They were planning to do a 10-year contract with McLaren. 10 years. Up until 2025. But that went south very quickly with McLaren after 2017. Had a horrendous season and McLaren was so fed up with it that they switched to Renault. And then they realised the problems didn't only lie with the engine, it lied within the car itself, the chassis, the aerodynamics. So they've been on the recovery ever since. Now they partnered up with Mercedes and they're looking like a pretty competitive team. But yeah, Honda partnering up with Toro Rosso, with, what was it, Brendan Hartley and Pierre Gasly that season? Or was it Brendan Hartley and Alexander Albon? 2018. Oh, no, it had to have been Pierre Gasly, because Ricciardo was still in the Red Bull seat in 2018. And 2019 comes along, Gasly gets a promotion to the big seat at Red Bull. Alexander Albon is brought in. So is Daniel Kvyat. He's brought back into the Toro Rosso fold. Yeah. Been a fairly long journey for Honda, and they're deciding to call it time at the end of this season to focus on new things with the company rather than Formula One. Yeah. I wonder how long we'll have this livery for. I wonder when they will change it back. We'll have to wait and see. I don't mind the livery, but as a commentator, it's rather annoying to have like 6 cars on the grid that are white. Ava, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Oh, it's like, oh! Well then. Oh, Lopez. Not only did you crash on the safety car, you crashed when I was looking at you. Oh. Poor fella. Safety car in this lap. We'll get back under racing now. Oh no. Poor guy. Assassin will control the field. Decide when to go. Doesn't take off just yet. Arba's staying right behind. Assassin backing up. There we go. He sets off. Peyton's actually got a pretty good restart here. He's challenging Andy for 3rd place. Looking down the inside towards turn 1. Jask making up a position as well around the outside of Mitch Burns at turn 1, so he gets a place. Peyton couldn't quite capitalise on that very, very good restart. Oh, this is always hair-raising to see the cars make their way through the middle sector. Always, there's a couple of changes for position here. Cameron up a place. Oh, Express had to get off the throttle there. Here comes Aaron down the inside. But this will be the outside line for the first Egner curve. Oh, that's tight, but they get through. They get through relatively okay. So nothing too dramatic going on at the moment. Cameron, oh, that's a bit dramatic. Cameron and Dream, bit of contact there at the hairpin. Cameron up into P8. Mercedes driver not mucking around. He wants to get a move on. And that is Electric Blade. Oh, he's dropped a long way back, so he's had a moment. I didn't pick up on it. Here comes Barmer down the inside. Wingett will try and follow on Express. Oh, they make a bit of contact. Nothing major. Oh, dearie me. Heading towards 130R. Oh, it's tight stuff here. Down the inside, Kittenpetter looks. Wingett has to go off the road to avoid contact. Into the chicane we go. Oh, Kittenpetter sends it. Oh, dear. He uses the tight chicane. Well, kind of. Express goes into the pits. So he must have got damage from all the battling that was going on. Through the high-speed S section. Then around Dunlop Curve. Wingett and Aaron are still battling. The fact that... Ah, I see. That's Electric Blade bringing out yellow flags there. He's not having a great time of things, unfortunately. Cameron. Right on the back of Bursey. Oh, and he actually hits him and spins him out. Into the barrier, and he's gone. He's retired from the race. Oh dear, I imagine there'll be words said about that. Astonishingly, we don't have a safety car. But then again, typically 1 or 2 laps after a safety car period, we don't... Oh, Electric Blade disqualified. Received too many penalties, so Electric Blade is out. His race is done. And there's Sector 3 yellows. What's going on up here? Ah, I see. So Electric Blade, he was disqualified and his car parked up on the inside near the pit entry. That was a very strange place to park up. Through the S's. Cameron still appears to be relatively okay. I wonder if they did actually make contact. And he has spun out. There he is there. He's lost control. He's flick spin the car, pointing back relatively in the right direction, but he's fallen down to 9th. Yeah, that was rather spectacular. Just Bursey. I don't... Yeah. Because with contact like that, typically, Cameron would have got damage. So I reckon there might have been desync. Either that, or they didn't make contact, and Bursey spun on the inside curb at turn 10, perhaps. But even so, he lost complete control and he went straight into the barrier as Wingett loses control in the S's and brings out a yellow flag. That was... okay. But I'm pretty sure they did make contact. I'm not sure. You can hook without getting damage? Really, Connor? Huh. In this game? I mean, it is an F1 game, so I suppose it isn't out of the realms of impossibility. You're right, it is stupid, but oh well, that's the nature of the game, isn't it? It's still in quite a broken state. Even though this is the 1.12 version of the game. We've got plenty of patches, but it's still horribly broken. Yeah, that was a fascinating accident. matches. That's actually a fair point, Nortec, as Cameron makes a position on Jask. By going on the intermediate tyre, he extended the safety car period by a lap. And for sure, it's not ideal for some of the drivers on track that need an extended sort of green flag period to make their races work. Less laps equals less time to make positions. Well, less green flag laps equals less time to make positions. That is a fair point. I'm sure that might be brought up by somebody. But you also have to remember, everybody in here is human. It's very easy to just make a mistake by clicking on the MFT, selecting the wrong tyre. So, you know. Here comes Mitch Burns. Jask on the hard tyre. He's a bit of a sitting duck. Just doesn't have the grip of the medium runners or the soft runners. He's got good pace. He's holding firm in P5. You can see Cameron pull away through the S's. Drivers desperately avoiding the inside curves as Kittenpetter overtakes his teammate. Oh, Andy. He was set for a really solid finish and then, yeah, everything went south. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. If that is what happened, then that's fine, but yeah, you're quite right. Your previous point is right, though. By going onto the intermediate tyre, when it's completely dry, he just extended the safety car period by a lap, which is less than ideal. Barma on the back of Mitch Burns. 3/10 separating the two. Now he's on 6-lap-old soft tyres. Mitch on 11-lap-old mediums, so cards are in Barma's favour, but Mitch Burns actually pulled away just a little bit there. Now closing in towards 130R, and he's really low on battery. He's on like 5% or something, as he's going to have a look. Round the outside into the chicane, goes for it, sends it, gets it done. Credit to Barma, he got the job done. Into P6. Now will he get DRS as well? He will, there you go. That's a great move. And a good amount of respect being shown by both drivers in that exchange. No biffing, no banging, just a clean, simple overtake. Field is starting to spread out now too. Field is starting to... Oh, and into the barrier goes Jask! Oh my goodness me, how are you not out? You went into there at 1,000,000 miles an hour and you're still in the race. Yeah, Breezy went into the barrier at 10 kilometers an hour and he's out. He's got end plate damage on the front right of his front wing. There it is there. So he'll have to come in and get that replaced. Oh dear. It just shows you the brutality of the circuit, doesn't it? You really do have to remain focused all the time around here. You put a single foot wrong and you're done. Your race is over. One tiny misjudgment, one lapse in concentration, donezo. Mitch still keeping up with Barma. But in fairness to Barma, those soft tyres won't be feeling incredibly great after 8 laps. Well, actually, he's done 3 of them under safety cars, so credit to Mitch Burns. He's still got good pace on those mediums. Cameron on the back of Peyton now. Coming up towards Dunlop. Really want to avoid that inside curb. Or Cameron just touched it there. Jask in the pit lane to get a front wing change. He'll go onto the soft tyre. He'll probably try and get fastest lap if he can. Through turn 10 into turn 11. Gets on the brake. Second gear. Short shifts to third. Peyton loses it, and here comes Cameron. A simple mistake, but a costly one. Down to P4 he goes. Yeah, fair enough, Electric Blade. Fair enough. I will try and pass on your thanks to Codemasters, because they really do deserve it. Oh, a bit of backing out there, a bit of tactical stuff going on. Oh, I like this. So, you heard there, Peyton's engine note, it dropped. He went off the throttle. He didn't want to give DRS to Cameron. So what did Cameron do? He slammed on the brakes to make sure he was behind Peyton so he could do this. Oh, the tactical stuff going on. I love it. Because there's only one DRS zone on the circuit, and realistically it's the only overtaking spot on the circuit. You do have the hairpin, you do have the chicane at the end of the circuit, but it can be quite difficult to make moves stick through there. The easiest way to pass is to use DRS and slingshot by down the pitch straight into turn 1. And that's precisely what Cameron has done. He's on the soft tyre and he's trying to push towards R-bar to try and claim that second spot. Though he does have the penalties he has to deal with. He's got 6 seconds, so with the laps remaining, the best he could probably hope for is a P3 if he can build up a 3-second margin over Peyton. That's probably the best he can hope for. Ooh, Sector 1 yellows. That is Aaron. Ooh, thank goodness ghosting is on. Otherwise, that would have been a nasty accident. Aaron down in P11. Now 3 odd seconds behind Express, who just passed him as soon as he spun out. Andy on the back of his teammate. Barmer on the back of Mitch Burns. These two are still scrapping it out. So Mitch got back in front. What can Barmer do? Probably retake the position with the power of DRS. There we are. Simple overtake. Retakes P5. Ooh, but Mitch fights. Credit to Mitch. He fought back. But he now stays behind the Mercedes. Andy still right behind his teammate. He doesn't really need to pass. He knows Kitten has a 3-second time penalty, so he can just keep up with Kitten. Not do anything too silly. You'll still get P8 for... Oh, wow. Lost a fair bit of time there. Gap has increased almost a second between the two. Mitch losing time to Barmer, who's closing in on Peyton, or at least trying to. If he can stay within 3 seconds of Peyton, he might be able to snag that P4. In fact, by the current numbers, he might be able to snag a podium. Cameron's got 6 seconds, Peyton with 3. There's a fair shout that Barmer will finish in 3rd place. Dream is out. He's crashed out at Spoon. You can see his dot stationary on the circuit there. So that is retirement number 7 from the race. Ah, the useless camera. See, this camera doesn't really give you much except for a pretty nice view of the player's helmet there. A nice little sort of turquoise coloured helmet for Mitch Burns. Sort of that Petronas green. Petronas turquoise. Oh, there's Cameron. Oh, Cameron's out! He's crashed out! At the entrance to turn 6, there he is there, stationary. Oh, and that is a missing wheel there. Completely dislodged from the car. That's it. Cameron's charge is over. Served a qualifying ban, tried to cut his way through the field, and he scores nada. Ouch. That puts Barmer in a better position to take a podium. Exiting Spoon down towards 130R. Mitch still keeping up with the Mercedes. If Mitch can pass Barmer, he might be able to finish on the podium. And that's Wingett spinning out. in the first sector. He's now in P11. Barmer, that was a bit of a weird racing line there. Leaders begin the final lap, and here comes the Mercedes. Rather, the Alpine, I should say. The Mercedes makes a mistake. Here comes Mitch. He takes 4th place away from Barmer. That puts Mitch into provisional P3. Oh, this is a great scrap. Who will come out on top in this? Because Barmer just mysteriously lost speed in the chicane. And he had that awkward line entering the chicane too. That was all just very strange. Through the second Degner, underneath the crossover. Barmer still applying pressure. He wants that P4 back. He knows there's a podium finish, potential podium finish on the line. Peyton driving as hard as he can to try and pull away. He needs to find another 10th, and he can hang on to 3rd place. Oh, and it's at 3 seconds now. It's hovering around 3 seconds. Peyton might just hang on. But Persasson, it's another dominant drive. It was a dominant qualifying. He's effectively led every single lap. Comes around the final corner for the final time to take the checkered flag. He wins here at Suzuka Circuit. He wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Arba will cross the line in 2nd place. He'll be very happy with that. Peyton comes home in 3rd. Will he hang on to it? No, he will not. Mitch Burns will get 3rd place. Barmer will get 4th. Look how tight it is. Less than a 10th separating those 3 cars at the end of the race. Kitten Petter will cross the line in P6. Andy's trying to get fastest lap. That's what he's trying to do. And let's see here. Oh, actually, no. He's backed off a lot. Like a lot. Why has he done that? I thought he was going to go for fastest lap. He's definitely not doing that. Oh, I see. He's got wing damage. You see, I thought from the gap, he pitted in for fresh tyres. No, he made a mistake. Jask will cross the line in P8, then Express, then Aaron. He will complete the top 10. He was only just behind Express as well. Yeah, I thought from the gap between Andy and Kitzenpetter, I thought Andy pit, and I didn't notice. No, he got damaged. That's why he's 22 seconds back. Then we got Wingett, our final finisher, to complete what has been a fairly dramatic race, and he's got wing damage too. And there we are. That was a very, very interesting race. And it's another win for Persasson. I mean, qualifying really said it all, didn't it? He qualified on pole by 8/10. By 8/10. It really did set the tone. But he'd be very happy with this 2nd place finish. He drove very well, kept out of trouble, claimed a P2 finish. And Mitch Burns managed to close the gap in by just enough to take P3 away from Peyton. And he had Barmer right behind as well, giving him a hard time. It could have been another podium finish for Barmer, but he missed out by, I think it was about 0.07 of a second. Peyton missed out on P4 by 12 thousandths. It's pretty close between these 3, to say the least. Kittenpetter P6 from P11 on the grid, then Andy P7, Jask P8 from 9th on the grid, Express P15 to P9, he'll be pretty happy with that, making up a few places. Excuse me, Aaron Carey P10, our final finisher Wingett P11, then Cameron, our last retirement, Dream, Bursey, Electric Blade, Lopez, Cam, KD, Breezy. A lot of retirements in this one. 8, I think. 8 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 retirements over the course of this race. My goodness. Here we are. Certainly a interesting race here at Suzuka. Not because of so much of racing, although there were some bits where we had good racing. It was more so the drama that took place. A lot of incidents, a lot of crashes, probably a lot to talk about in the Discord chat afterwards. But, yeah. Not bad. I've seen worse. Seen better, though. But, I think they'll wrap everything up here for this week on Contest of Speed. Another victory for this guy. He's looked somewhat untouchable. He's been he's been a standout performer in the American side of things. He is very, very, very quick. Give him credit for that. I believe that's the wrong cam Reaper. Yeah. You might be talking about Cos Cameron. Cam Tizzle was another driver in the race. Tied early. Oh dear. Just looked at the chat just then. Oh well. Yeah, wrong Cameron, Reaper. Wrong Cameron. That's not the right Cameron. That was Cos Cameron. Cam Tizzle, like I said, retired a bit earlier, I think, if I recall. Anyway. Oh well. Race aside, we can finally wrap everything up. That's alright, Cam. Anyway. We can wrap everything up. We can look forward to next week. But until then, I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you for round 11 at pretty much everybody's home way. Well, a lot of the drivers' home race. At Circuit of the Americas for the United States Grand Prix. But that hopefully should be quite an entertaining race. At COTA, it tends to be a bit of a mixed bag, but typically it's more positive than negative at COTA. So I'm looking forward to it. And I hope everyone watching is as well. Hope to see you all there. But until then, it's goodbye.